guys, Connie here. So today I wanted to make a video especially for you if you are going through this beautiful transformation of losing control to find the power within you. And I wanted to give you my backstory, what I've gone through, and how I came out of that, right? So I don't deal or tolerate with BS. I don't like fake stuff. I don't like fake people. That is my preference. Like, I love all of God's children, but some of my preferences I don't like. I don't like liars. I don't like cheaters. That doesn't mean I will be any different towards them. And so that's context, okay? We're now living in a world where we get paid or we get attention and validation for looking good, for looking rich, for putting on a show. And a lot of us are losing this sign of authenticity. And when I was in high school, I was the girl that I never went out. I don't even party like that. I went to maybe a couple basketball games, and I was never invited to really anything. Maybe it's like through a friend and a friend. So I always grew up like the outcast. And fast forward, people are starting to realize that after high school, unless you are a social media influencer or some person online, you really have to wake up to the reality of what is there for you. And most of my life I spent truly alone, but never alone. And I can confidently say that the skills that I've learned is not mainstream school or through social media in a way. It's really going to the inner world. And if you're just tired of fake advice, fake people, well, welcome to my channel, girl, because I'm so transparent about everything. I could really give less of a crap about what people have to say about me. And the real stuff is that you will lose friends, you will lose family, but you never lose anything. It's because who you were was attracting that group. And so for the longest time, the hardest thing for me was being the bigger person and seeing the truth for what it is, and everything just falling apart. You know, like in the past, my relationship was failing. I was losing money. I was losing my health. I didn't have any friends. My hair was thinning out. I was gaining weight. I was going through the spiritual journey. I underwent witchcraft, removing black magic. You know, I found myself in my mama's basement, and I was alone again. And I have really had to learn my lesson. So this is literally me picking up from ground one. And I didn't have friends. It was just me, myself. I was my friend. I was like 3 different personalities trying to encourage and reassure me that everything was okay, when deep down I felt like it wasn't. And so this is just a video for anyone that feels like they're losing control, that things aren't going right. Maybe you're sick. Maybe you are financially not in a good spot. I was there too. And I can also say as well is that you are powerful because of that situation. And society likes to manipulate what suffering is and what looking good or doing good is. I'm here to tell you, I would go through all that I went through again just to be here. I know myself. That's the one thing. Because I know myself, I know what I have to do. And if you really want to align to the best reality, you must be authentic. In a world of everyone's trying to fit in a world of influencing, in a world of getting paid to be someone that you're not. Look, I done lost friends for the truth. I done lost money for the truth. But guess what? I'm still here. You can't get rid of me, right? And that's what Jesus stood for, and why Yeshua is his real name. Why Yeshua is so prevalent in my life is because it got him killed. And I realized not everyone is meant to walk that route. Truth is that's something that's a value of mine. You tell the truth. I don't care. Just tell it as it is, you know. And you might feel like you're alone, or you feel like being a good person isn't enough, or being nice isn't enough. And I'm here to tell you that if people leave, they were never real. If people come back, then that's when you know that you're real. And long story short, you really have to spend time with yourself. Step 1 is really spend time with yourself. I spent, after my prior failed relationship, right, and everything was going south, I spent some time alone. And at one point I was so okay with myself. I finally saw myself in the mirror. And did I like what I see? No. But eventually, every day, through the crying and walking and de-stressing, my senses were heightened. Like I always say, Mother Earth is opening up her crown, meaning you're gonna feel fear, you're gonna feel anxiety, you're gonna feel all these emotions that just no longer serves into 2026. So you might be feeling frantic for some time now. And I started changing my health. I have like, let me show you guys. I have blueberries right here, and then I have dates. I just finished my workout. I love being in my own company, and nobody can tell me nothing anymore. Nobody can tell me nothing. Not in a way where I'm not receptive or open. I love open criticism. But I'm saying some people will walk into your life thinking that because they know you, that like you are the person in the past you're not. And so doing this inner work, spending time with yourself, being authentic in a world of foolery is insane. I mean, you take a snapshot of someone's life and it goes viral and you think that's reality when it's not. We're so deep into our subconscious. We're so deep into this is our world. We forget that there is a world that exists that is ever growing. And we have to keep up with that. And so what I started doing was I started meditating, journaling, reading, and I was never consistent. But again, I'm not doing it with the intention to do it just to say I did it. I'm taking my time. I'm analyzing. I'm observing. I'm not just checking off a list just to say that I'm spiritual and I did this. That's not what I'm doing. And so it's hard. No one will clap for you. No one will tell you if you have makeup on or you got a nice suit on that you're beautiful or you're handsome. You have to tell yourself that. You literally have to be your own best friend and your own relationship. I didn't have anyone at that time, and I felt like I was showing up 1,000 times more for family and close relatives than I was for me. And it's hard. Being an adult in this world where it's so easy, where people are comfortable, is hard. But that's more of a reason to do it. And I realized I'm so grateful that I took the initiative to heal and transform myself, because back then personal development was not a thing. Like, they thought you were woo-woo for focusing on your education and your books and your healing. But now femininity is like all over the world. Spirituality is all over the world. And so and Spirit told me this way back when I was in high school, that this is what I need to focus on. And now it's like a trend. And so even though it was hard for me to find myself, because it was ripping the bandage off and literally going through the layers of what doesn't belong, here I am standing. It's like literally years and years of work. And you might feel like you're alone. Maybe you don't have friends, but that doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. It means you're unique in your perspective. So own that perspective, be open to criticism, always learn, always look at different things in different angle, always be open-minded. And I promise you the real people will come into your life. And if I can say anything, it is the world will come to you when it needs you, but until then you must stand alone in sovereignty as the being that you came this world as, the spiritual sovereignty being of light. And I learned something, which was that everyone is in their own timeline, everyone is in their own growing phase. And one thing I'm very grateful for was being in my own space. I took my time. And then when I went out to the real world, I realized I am so grateful I'm not tainted or distorted by people's perceptions, thoughts, habits, patterns, belief. Is it hard to manage bills and rent and money and all that? Absolutely. But I'm getting the hang of it. I'm doing really good, guys. And you must also tell yourself that you're doing really good as well. Losing control feels like this deep sadness that'll never go away for the lack of power that you feel like you don't have. Like you feel like nothing ever goes right, or you're losing control of everything and you're self-sabotaging. But there is a way out of that. I confidently would say it is through the love and the authenticity of you. That was you before this world ever told you what you needed to be. Meaning, everyone goes through that life cycle. But what really helped me was like, I'm gonna own me. All flaws and all, I don't care. I don't care if people don't like me. I don't care if people talk about me. It's how I feel about me at the end of the day. I don't care about social media trends. I don't I'm not gonna sit with people that are just using me for things for their own benefit. I'm much more better than that. You know, I'm aligned with my goals. I'm not better than them. I'm better in terms of making the decision that aligns me to the highest good of myself and with others. And when you really are authentic, when you lose control to really to see how powerful you really are, it can take a couple months, it can take a couple years, whatever that is, you will finally see the light at the end of the tunnel. And a really good quote is, if God is omnipresent, omnipotent, and omniscient, then how could you possibly be in your own way? Unless you are not receptive to that grand energy that is. And I also learned to not judge other people or judge myself for the things that I lack, but just because I do something doesn't mean I'm better than somebody else, point blank. And if you are that person to be bashing and judging and gossiping somebody else, that's how you feel about yourself. And these past couple of years wasn't just like I finally work out, I have the body that I want, you know, my body, everything is good. No, it's literally going through stuff nobody wants to go through. It is starting from the bottom and working your way up. When you find yourself and you try to lose control, you realize like you're not all you think you are, but you are all you think you are if you allow yourself to be it. And it can be really confusing for someone that doesn't know how to navigate. It's almost like butting your head against the wall. But I will say is I wouldn't have it any other way. And maybe it is the truth that I am, that other people are not willing to see within themselves, but I'm not going to diminish my own light to make other people feel comfortable. Like I'm not here to be liked. I'm here to walk in my purpose. And if I know there's a lie that someone puts out there, I'll put the truth to the stand. That is the confidence that I have prayed since I was a little girl. And who you see now isn't always who she was. It was trials and tribulations. But that doesn't mean I stopped being nice and kind and compassionate to other people. When you lose yourself and you allow yourself to break in those moments, you realize there's nothing ever broken. You're just more complete. And I think of it as like a painting. You might think, you know, these lines aren't going anywhere or the colors aren't matching, but when you really look at the scope and let the work be done, you see that it's a masterpiece and it was more beautiful than it was laser point perspective of your own perception. Like, if I see you in reality and I tell you you're the most beautiful, amazing human being, I see that. Yet it is your own perception that blocks you from seeing that. And losing control literally distorts your mind in a way of like, I don't know what's real, I don't know what's fake. That's where personal ownership and responsibility and accountability come in. See yourself the way that God sees you. And that is a journey in itself. And the blessings will come. I also made this video because I truly do believe not only are we not awakening to our potential, but I go everywhere. And it almost feels like these programs are so real to feel like you have to be someone that you're not. How many people walk around and they don't know who they are? And I don't want to live my life a lie. I'll tell myself the truth. And in all honesty, you don't need to heal. You just need to be honest. If you're honest with yourself, you remove the blockages because you see clearly. And I wish I had been honest with myself back in the past, and now I stand in honesty and in truth. I'm not perfect, I make mistakes, as we all do, but I aim and I strive for that. And if I could end this video and say that if you feel like you can never amount to anything, it's okay to sit in that for some time. But I prayed to Yeshua HaMashiach, of which I connect to. And it led me to my shaman. It led me to books. It led me to podcasts. It led me to a whole different reality where I am in love with the woman that I see in the mirror. And it wasn't easy, and I cried an ocean, and I will do it again. And you can too. And there's nothing wrong with being unique and different. If people don't understand you, so what? So be it. God created in the image of him, of her, of this source. You are that source. And if someone comes into your life and tells you the opposite, I don't believe that, right? I always say I don't believe that. And when you walk in your purpose and your authenticity, you lose control, you find out who you are. People can't help but be inspired by you, but they won't ever say anything, because they themselves are faced with this reality of highlighting a shadow that needs to be brought to light. And that doesn't mean we're better than somebody else or somebody's better than else. That just simply means we're all here to learn a lesson, and it's okay to lose control. It's okay to restart. It's definitely okay to feel like you're by yourself. And one of the things I always say is I watch Michael Beckwith all the time, and one of his videos, he talks about how to request. So I say in this meditation, I request millions and millions of unemployed angels in and around my life. And I say the names of those that I love. I say the names of myself. I say what's happening in the world and where I want the angels to go and what I need to be done in my life. And I really sit, and I remember I literally cried an ocean, okay? Because this divine is so real. It is our own perception that's blocking us. And if we lose control, that means there's a greater source that is able to finally be at a point where it can step in and take the reins on this ship that is falling apart, right? Sailing to an opposite direction of what the soul has. And so you're never losing control. You're just giving control to the Most High, who, by the way, doesn't want to see you suffer. Okay? And the art of dark magic and witchcraft is real. If you feel like you're not making a progress, what has helped me was I consulted and I researched a shaman. And that really jumped my life. I don't care what people say. I've had so many people tell me their opinions, but they themselves are consumed by a spirit. And I see that because I've gone through that. So it was through Yeshua HaMashiach that I requested help. And I went to someone that knew what to do. And I worked my butt off to get it done. And so it is. And so it be, right? And I'm gonna wrap this up real quick. There's nothing wrong with looking for help. There's nothing wrong with expanding your perspective and your limitations. There's literally nothing wrong with thinking outside the box, outside your religion, outside your culture, your norm, your ethnicity. If you're unhappy, do something about it, because you have that power, you have that sovereignty. I love you guys so much, and thank you for watching this video. Please take care of yourself.